Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, spiritual life coach and your host of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. The focus this week is on jealousy and envy. First, I'll be clarifying the definition of the often confused jealousy and envy, and then delving deeper into where they stem from and recognizing that even though these are supposed negative emotions, we can use them to make positive shifts. From Osho, comparison is a very foolish attitude because each person is unique and incomparable. Once this understanding settles in you, jealousy disappears. And I've added a breathing practice at the end of this episode, and we will work to release any tensions you may be holding and then open you up to receive. That's also with the added Solfeggio frequency of 528 Hz to clear away any negative blockages and assist in manifesting abundance and harmony. From William Shakespeare, but jealous souls will not be answered so. They are not ever jealous for the cause, but jealous for their jealous. It is a monster begot upon itself, born on itself. So we're probably all familiar with terms like the green-eyed monster and green with envy. As with the quote above, the terms green with envy or green-eyed monster do tend to get highlighted and repeated in fictional works. Shakespeare, Chaucer, Ovid have famously included that within their works. The origin of pairing green with envy and jealousy seems to come from the ancient Greeks, who believed that envy or jealousy caused an overproduction of bile, which then gave one's complexion a greenish hue. And even though we don't want to admit it, it's not uncommon to have feelings of jealousy or envy. Everyone has twinges of these, and it's just by noticing the signs of jealousy and envy that we can help control our emotions so that they don't escalate and become something negative. And also we can see what it is possible to learn when we have those feelings. But first, it's important to clarify the definitions, because most people will use the words envy and jealousy interchangeably, even though they may have similar feelings. On further examination, we'll see that they are actually very different. From Friedrich Nietzsche, surrounded by the flames of jealousy, the jealous one winds up, like a scorpion, turning the poison sting against himself. Starting with jealousy, and from William Penn, the jealous are troublesome to others, but a torment to themselves. So jealousy usually involves a third party, most commonly and most notably within romantic relationships, where the third party is seen and felt to be a rival for affection or attention. The person feeling jealousy in that situation will be threatened that someone will come and take away the love that they have. They feel a sense of possession. They feel a desire to guard, almost to a greedy extent. And it shows that they have a fear of losing something. It's highlighting a lack of trust, which obviously is a very important aspect of any kind of relationship. And continued feelings of jealousy will then start to foster negative thoughts. And we know that thoughts create reality, right? And feelings will then be suspicious, rage, fear, and we see people acting out of character because of jealousy. We hear of crimes of passion, and within the relationship, if there is insecurity, there could be a poor attachment style, but also there might be family behavioural patterns. And if the parties come from different histories and have different perspectives on life and how a relationship functions, that can also fuel jealousy. Elements of jealousy can also spark a need for a survival instinct within the person who's feeling that jealousy. Now to envy. And Bertrand Russell wrote, "Beggars do not envy millionaires, though of course they will envy other beggars who are more successful." So envy involves wanting something that someone else has. For example, people often feel envious of another person's wealth, personal achievements, their status, their perceived status, their appearance, and start to make comparisons between themselves and that person, thus making themselves feel inferior. You can imagine the rise of social media has then triggered envy and lower mental well-being in some people, really accelerating these feelings of inadequacy, or maybe a fear of missing out, a loss, a regret in others. In the Bible, it said that from envy that Cain murdered his brother Abel. And the thing is, envy ultimately is self-defeated, because there will always be someone who has it better than we do. So to simply clarify between the two, jealousy is highlighting what we fear we could lose. Envy is highlighting what we think we do not have. But what is it like being on the other side of people's envy or jealousy? From Paulo Coelho, never hate jealous people. They are jealous because they think you are better than them. So my experience of being the object of people's jealousy or envy, and now that I understand the definition, it's more like envy than it was jealousy. I mean, the first time that it was pointed out to me was in retelling stories of varying different situations over the course of my life. The person who would be listening would be like, well, it sounds like they were jealous of you. And every time I've heard that, I've always been very confused and very stunned by that, because for the most part, I've always understood what I was going through on a personal level, and despite that, being able to achieve what I was achieving. And also I knew how hard I was working. I knew that it wasn't ever something that was given to me, any of the things that I had that people were jealous about. And that could stem from the way that I looked, the fact that I was going to the gym all the time, which was one of the big instances that, one of the main instances that really sticks out in my mind when I was the subject of somebody's envy, and how that played out. And different achievements that I made in music, and exams that I was passing, and just generally being good at sports and all of that kind of thing, where there was a natural ability in me, but then also to maintain my success and kind of get those achievements that obviously were triggering other people, took a lot of focus, discipline and work. And it was always astounding to me that people would be envious, in particular because the people who were envious of me were often people who I considered to be friends, and also people that in previous instances I had actually offered help to them. So the confusion came from there. And when I kind of reminisce on those different events and how they presented themselves, a lot of the time it would be things that I would notice that would feel off, and then I'd say it to somebody else and they'd be like, well, that's their jealousy, we would call it, but it's envy speaking. For instance, passive aggressive comments. So for instance, there was a period of time where I was an absolute gym bunny, and I still do maintain my fitness, but at that point I was probably almost as fit as I was when I was a competing athlete. So I was in really good shape. I was disciplined. I was getting up in the morning. Any time of the year, I was going to the gym. And I had like spare gym memberships, and I would offer to kind of invite someone along, and they always turned me down and gave me the excuse that they didn't want to go to that gym, or they were a member of a much plusher, more established gym than the one that I went to, because the one that I went to was close down the road, and it was a chain. Because it was a chain, a franchise of gyms that you can find pretty much at least one or two in every town or city across the country, if not the world. So it was a well-known name, not a bougie, small, established one. And what I realized is, as I started to look better, slimmer, more toned, I had more energy, my skin was better, then the passive aggressive comments would come out like fake praises. For instance, someone would say to me, "Oh my God, you look so skinny." And There's been a period where women actually appreciate being called skinny, but I knew that this wasn't a compliment because it didn't feel like that. I felt the energy of it not being something that they wanted to say to kind of make me feel better. I mean, I didn't need to feel any better. I felt better in myself. I wasn't walking around asking for compliments. Other times where people have given me bad information, when I've asked for advice from them, they've kind of sent me in the wrong direction simply to sabotage the progress that I was making. I've been the subject of gossip. I've been the subject of competition in things that I've done. I've noticed that people actually started to copy me on numerous occasions and take credit for my achievements and call them their own, which go ahead, I'm a creative being, so I'm always going to come up with something new. Also, when people were very critical and very keen to point out all the things that were wrong with me, and also during moments in my life where I kind of hit the deck and had some massive failures, it was very apparent to me that people were enjoying this on a very unnatural level and taking great delight in the fact that I was down on my luck for a period of time and I needed help. And a quote from Fulton J. Sheen: "Jealousy is the tribute mediocrity pays to genius." So if you are the target of jealousy in the first instant, you may feel like someone, and this is usually a partner, is trying to control your life by keeping you away from socializing, being around other people, because they think that they might lose you. They might actually suggest that you be more dowdy, you don't wear nice clothes, and I've heard that within a partnership as well, jealousy within a partnership, when it looks like one partner is going to leave, when they actually start to take a bit more care of themselves and start to get external attention, a bit more attention, where perhaps the husband has been used to his wife just not taking care of herself and being content in not really kind of projecting the beauty of herself. When she has a shift and starts to present and starts to get attention, in particular from other men, he's then threatened by her change. If you're the target of envy, you may feel the ingratitude, the irony, the scorn, the snobbery, and the narcissism from other people. You may be the subject of ridicule by others, slander, bullying as well. When you're the target of envy, people will do their best to chip at your self-esteem, and nothing will pull you down quicker than incessant bullying. You may find out you're also the recipient of passive-aggressive and backstabbing, people making false accusations about you, unnecessary competition or rivalry, and also people trying to switch it so that trying to get you to envy them so that they have no reason to envy you. It's a very twisted game, but we get it, right? And then also the tall poppy syndrome. Whenever we see it within peer groups, within families, within workplaces, within society, the minute that somebody starts to rise up and better themselves, the ones who feel that they're being left behind will actually pull them down and try and get them back to your level. And term schadenfreude, which is taking pleasure in the distress of others. And as I mentioned, I've been the recipient of that. From Seneca: "No one can have all he wants, but a man can refrain from wanting what he has not, and cheerfully make the best of a bird in the hand." So you can ask yourself, am I jealous? And what can you consider if you're feeling feelings of jealousy? So this really relates to a relationship. Is there a reason that you should be suspicious, first and foremost? Is there a reason that you don't trust your partner? But then if your partner is being all the things that you want a partner to be, why do you not trust your partner? Your past experiences triggering these thoughts. And then what do you need to do to feel secure? Are you able to communicate that and express that you have these feelings of jealousy and Maybe it's because of their behavior, or maybe you feel it's just because you're seeing something and it's kind of reminding you of a pattern before, and you're anticipating that something will go a certain way. So with that, it's always about communication. And then, are you the envious type? What can you consider with regards to that? You can think about asking yourself, how do I feel when I see others succeed? Is it easy for me to give compliments? Are my compliments coming from the heart, or am I paying compliments through gritted teeth? Am I comparing myself unnecessarily to others? How do I feel to be around people who I perceive have more money, have more intelligence, have more fitness? Am I able to admit that the feelings that I have are my envy as opposed to something that they're doing? Are they really showing off, or do I feel bad? And also within that, if you're having that envy, if you're feeling envious, it's because there's a part of you that just thinks that those achievements are out of your reach. So why do you feel that you cannot achieve what others have? Truthfully ask yourself, if that is something that you want, if you're triggered by someone else's success, are you actually making an effort to go towards your goal? Is your envy actually covering up the fact that you're not making any effort, that you're stuck in a pattern of self-sabotage? Is there some belief or some subconscious loop that is determined to keep you small? And where does that come from? Jealousy is a disease. Love is a healthy condition. The immature mind often mistakes one for the other, or assumes that the greater the love, the greater the jealousy. In fact, they are almost incompatible. One emotion hardly leaves room for another. From Robert A. Heinlein. So to reiterate, if you feel jealousy, question why. Are you obsessing? Do you mistrust your partner? Communicate. From the Stoic Emperor, you could learn from the person you envy if you weren't blinded by resentment. Learning feels better than loathing. And if envy shows up, a reminder that it's an opportunity to examine where you feel you're not achieving and what you need to do to change that. From Theodore Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of joy. From Jiddu Krishnamurti, to live without comparison is to remove a tremendous burden. So in conclusion, when we're feeling either of these feelings, it's good to ask what we're seeing in ourselves. And yes, we're going to be overtaken by these emotions of jealousy, of these emotions of envy, and it's not a nice feeling. And we notice that it will really push us into some out of character behavior. Rarely are people proud of the actions that they make due to jealousy or envy. These emotions are reactions. They're highlighting areas for our awareness and things that we can do to mitigate the recurrence of jealousy and envy. Self-appreciation, knowing our self-worth. If we know what we're about, then the fact that other people have what we want, actually we can use that to our advantage. If we know that we have all we need right now, we just realize that it's just a matter of time before we achieve what we want. And it may not even look like what others have. We can have gratitude for what we have and where we are. And gratitude will then mitigate these emotions and help you overcome any negative feelings. So start to really appreciate the positive things that you have in your life, and use in particular your envy to fuel your ambition. If you see others having it, we know that it's possible, and it's possible for you. You can also use it for mentorship and coaching, maybe even from the very people that you envy, because clearly they've got something, they know how to get to that point. And there's a part of you in that envy that's actually really respecting them and what they have. And maybe they can show you how they made it and where you need to go. And just remember, there will always be other people at different stages of life. Wherever we are, there will always be someone richer than us, someone fitter than us, someone more successful, whatever that means to you. It's just to really be clear about what your security and what your success feels like, what your achievements feel like for you. And then you'll actually just appreciate people with more, because you know the effort, the discipline, and the commitment that it takes to achieve. From Seneca, a wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. And to close from Buddha, do not overrate what you have received, nor envy others. He who envies others does not obtain peace of mind. Thank you for joining me again for another episode of Higher Energetic Resonance, Inspirations, and we were talking about jealousy and envy, very interesting topics to delve into. And the deeper I went into the research and the contemplation of it, it then became clearer why these things happen, but also what they're showing in a positive light and how we can actually move forward. I think a lot of the time we tend to try and veer away from what we consider to be negative and bad emotions. And ultimately, the emotions themselves are not necessarily bad. It's the actions that we take as a result. It's the behaviors that we take as a result. So thank you for joining me again. And just a reminder that if you're interested in being coached by me for my Higher Energetic Resonance Spiritual Life Coaching, check the link in the show notes or go to my website, which is carolmaywhittick.com, carolmaewhittick.com. You can find me on Facebook under the same name, and also on Instagram, Casmic, and her podcasts both now have a new Instagram, which is her_podcasts. And you can find me also on Telegram, Her Conversations and Inspirations. So I'll leave you with this practice, this breathing practice. And what I feel will be beneficial with this is if you are feeling that you encounter many feelings of jealousy and envy, one of the things this will do is to release any tensions that you may be holding, and then open you up to receive, because once you have what you need, once you have what you want, it's unlikely that you'll be jealous of anyone else. So enjoy that. Till next week. Thank you. So many of us feel contracted when we think about money. Our mind moves from appreciating what we have in the present moment to being concerned about our future. We worry about having enough to meet our needs, or that we will lose what we have. And in these present times, these are valid concerns. However, many of our issues around money are rooted in trauma, shame, and/or unworthiness that build limiting beliefs that block the flow of abundance. So if we can cultivate a feeling of deserving, of being supported and trusting, we are open to receiving what we need, when we need it, in whatever form it is presented to us. Remember that abundance is always your birthright, and all of your needs will be met. In this breathing practice, we will first work to release any blocks and tensions that you may be holding, and then open up to receive, and then lift ourselves into a state of gratitude so that we can attract what we already know is ours. The Solfeggio frequency in this track is 528 Hz to help clear away any old fear and negative blockages and assist in manifesting abundance and harmony. Find yourself in a seated position, either on a chair or on the ground. Now first we want to feel into our body and notice where we may be holding any feeling of fear, contraction, lack, whenever our mind turns to money. So just ask yourself, if you felt that your money was running out, or if you feel that money is not coming into you, where does that show up on your body? For some people, it is a contraction in the shoulders, a tightness. For others, it is palpitations in the heart, fear. Others may feel a knot in their stomach. Notice wherever that shows up for you. And what we'll begin to do now is to breathe into that area and release that tension. So first, take a deep breath through the nose. And as you're breathing in, feel the breath as it cools and travels past the inside of your nostrils and down, down, down into your belly area. If you want to, you can place your hand there. And we just want to fill that area up with your breath. When you've reached the capacity of what you can hold, exhale and direct that breath to the area of tension that you feel when you're feeling about lack or fear around money. Breathe out and just allow that exhale to wash over and release that tension. Again, we're going to breathe in through the nostrils, bringing the breath in, filling up our belly, filling up all the way up to our chest area, and just holding that breath within us, knowing that we are in control of our breath. Now as we exhale, again directing that breath to the area of tension that we feel. Releasing that. Again, breathing in, feel it cooling the inside of your nostrils and directing itself down, all the way down to your belly, extending out and filling up within yourself, right up to the chest. Hold for one moment. Feel that you are full, and exhale and release. Direct that energy to release that tension. Again, breathing in. Filling up from the belly to the chest. Holding that breath, feeling full. And exhale. Washing through that tension. Exhale. Erasing the tension, the fear. Breathe in again. Feeling the belly. the tension floats away. One more time at your own pace, breathe in. Fill yourself up. And exhale. The tension, the fear, the worry goes out with the breath. And now just relax. Breathing at your own pace and feeling what it is to have a tension-free body. If you feel any areas, take another breath in. Fill yourself up and breathe out. Allowing the tension and the fear and the worry and the stress to be released with your breath. And now for the remainder of this track. As you breathe in, consider these words. My needs are being met. My needs will always be met. I am enough. I have enough. I trust I will be supported. I open up to receive. I open up to receive. I am deserving. I am supported. And now, bring into your body, your heart, and your mind a feeling of gratitude for receiving what you need whenever you need it. Allow whatever comes to you to show up in miraculous and unexpected ways. Hold that feeling of gratitude. I am grateful. Thank you. I am grateful. Thank you. I am grateful. Thank you. Thank you.